something wrong. Okay, so we will call this meeting to order and we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The audience of citizens, I don't know, we have to record them as audience of citizens, but Patty Massey and Jack Jocelyn are here. And then, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Michael Howard, my wife Denise Howard.
Michael and Denise Howard.
Howard.
Howard, H-A-U-R.
Sterling residents?
Yes.
Okay.
And we would like to say something.
Okay.
Big audience of citizens.
Do you mind if are you here for a particular subject? Because we might be able to, I don't know if we can make sure we get there and.
Yeah, I'd like to speak on a particular subject.
Okay, which agenda item? Just so I know for when we get there.
Agenda.
Oh. So, give copies here, please. Pass a few out there.
Jack, you want?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I can make more.
Seeing this letter in front of me, I'm guessing is it related to the solar field?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Do you have that on our agenda or no? Okay. All right, we'll try to move through the agenda as efficiently as possible. This will come up in new business stuff. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. So approval of the meeting minutes. Did anybody have any revisions or comments on the meeting minutes from last meeting? There's no questions. Can we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last meeting?
Motion approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Not voted. Motion carries. First item on unfinished business is letter A, the phase 2 surveyor RFP. Do we have any? Oh, and just so everybody knows, just found out like last week pretty much, but Suzanne will be taking over as EDC coordinator. Sarah took a position in town as grant writer, and she needed to step back from EDC. She's still with the town as treasurer and her other positions as well. So Suzanne will be filling in as EDC coordinator.
It doesn't get too hectic yet.
All right. Do we have an update, Suzanne? Anything from what Sarah filled you in on? I mean, right now we had filed the grant and we were waiting and that
Still
was
waiting
pretty
on the
much
grant
all.
money.
Okay. So no updates. Do we have a motion to table item A?
Yeah. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Not voting? Motion carries. New EDC members. So we have 2 members sitting here today. That the applications we reviewed last meeting. Did you just want to introduce yourselves briefly to the committee?
Yeah, sure. You want first?
I can go. Neil Delmonico, I've been officially a lifelong resident of Sterling. It's always been my official residence, even when I was in the military or away at college or what have you. I owned a business in Brooklyn for quite a number of years, a retail business. Worked for my father, who owned a retail business in Putnam. Believe that we should have, I'll call it sound development in Sterling. And I said this a month ago, but I guess it bears repeating. I would like to see clean development, if you will, like, not that we're likely to steel mill or chemical plant, but something that, is not an eyesore in the environment. Plus, I would prefer to see any development take place either in the industrial park or its environs, or in the villages or near the villages in town, as opposed to somebody putting something up on the backside of Martyr Henry or something, or, Sterling. This is Right, this is part of the last Green Valley, and it's for a good reason. I mean, and as they say in the descriptions, if you look at a nighttime photograph, satellite photograph of the northeastern United States, this is like the only dark spot between Boston and Washington DC. And I would prefer to keep it that way as much as possible. I like it here, I like the nature, the quietness sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you have to drive to go see certain things, but I don't see that as being a problem. So I would, as I said, I would like to see reasonable development going forward.
Yeah, I think that's something we agreed on when you put your application in last meeting, that development being in the defined area of the
Yeah.
industrial park is. We have.
Or within the villages, you know, because you already have stuff there, so you're not really gonna add any light pollution or what have you.
Thank you, Neil. Stephen?
Steve Jocelyn, I've lived in town for just about all my life, raising my family there, running a business in town. I agree, I'd like to see some development, the industrial park, small business, keep it small, keep it local. Nothing too crazy, not too much traffic, but, you know, maybe employ some people and improve some taxes.
Sure. Thank you. All right, and we have, Suzanne, do you know how many open slots we have currently?
I do not.
I think we have we have two alternate slots open. And then I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1 or 2 regular slots still open, so, yeah, 2, because we have Mark who's not here tonight, and then, yeah, that's right, because Judy.
Nicole's not here either.
Nicole's not here, so we have 1 open. We have 1 open now with Neil and Steve. So we'll just have to keep on those advertisements, for those positions. If there's no other input on the open positions, can we get a motion to table for the next meeting as those slots are open? Yeah.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, not voted, motion carries. The brochure business directory, Suzanne provided a listing of the business directory here. For people that are not familiar, Sterling used to have a business directory. It kind of fell by the wayside. It was a printed publication. We've been going back through and rebuilding a directory for businesses in town. Sarah had been cleaning up the list and scrubbing it. The next step we had was to send a letter out, and the letter would serve 2 purposes. It would make these businesses aware that this list is being created, give them an opportunity to opt out, but then also it would test the address we have on file, because if it comes back undeliverable, take them off the list because it's undeliverable. So Suzanne has a letter drafted here.
That's the letter that Sarah had drafted.
I'm not gonna read it in the record. If anybody wants copies of any of this in the audience, you feel free to grab one. But basically, Sarah had drafted a letter that, you know, explaining that we're in the process of creating this business directory. It's going to live on the website for now. That's the most cost-effective way to do it and modern way to do it, and the website
Well,
that
I
the
did
town
talk to
is part
Sarah
of.
about
Yeah.
mailing.
Yeah.
And we do have the money in the budget
Okay,
to mail. So I think that would be, trying to get people to go to the website is difficult.
okay.
So I think if we did a mailing.
Yeah.
You know,
You mean mailing to each resident in the?
no, each person that's on this.
Oh,
list.
yeah, absolutely.
Just on
Yes,
this
yes,
list.
but once the list is compiled, it would be posted as a directory on the
Yes.
Sterling website.
Yes, there is one on the website,
Mhm.
but it's old.
Yeah.
I mean, the member listing on it is extreme, everything on it's very, very, very old. I would like to actually take it down, scrub it and put it back up. It's, got it, I was like, it's crooked. Very crooked.
But this is a good start. We'll mail it out to these businesses. We'll see the response we get. It'll be a good test for the mailing addresses
Yes.
too, to make sure that they're viable and they don't get returned by the post office.
We may want to take a look through them because like, for instance, they still have White L's is up here on 14 as
Okay.
opposed to being in Center Sterling.
Yeah, true.
So there may be a few others that are equal.
Do you wanna review it, bring it back to the next meeting before I send it out, or?
I know Sarah had said she had been working on it and scrubbing it. I mean, we could give it one final look through if we want, just to spot out some of those low hanging fruit, because I don't know, or let's contact Sarah and see just to what level
Okay, I can.
she was at this point in the process.
Okay.
And clarify that.
Alright,
And then once we clarify at what point she was, if she said that, you know, she didn't get, you know. we'll go
I
from
think she was kind of, it's a work in progress, and it's kind of like what you said.
Yep.
Need to mail it out and see what comes back.
Sure.
I mean, White L's one, we know.
there. Yeah.
She just hadn't got to the W's yet, that's
Could
all.
be,
Yeah.
that could be it, yes. I'd like to take a look at the assessors database too, if I get a minute.
Sure. Yeah. that'd be a good idea. Okay. Okay. So, it sounds like we're not ready to mail the letter. But did anybody want time to review the letter at least, or are you okay with the letter? Neil, Steve, did you want time to review the letter, or are you okay approving the letter itself for now?
I think the letter itself is fine.
Okay. Okay, so if we can get a motion to approve the mailing of the letter contingent on scrubbing the list better and communicating with Sarah, we can do that. Do we have a motion to approve?
I moved it that takes place.
Okay. You made a motion to approve the letter contingent on scrubbing the list. Second from Marisa, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, not voting, motion carries. Thank you. Former town hall, do we have any update here? The one thing we asked was anybody with ideas on the town hall to mail them in to Sarah by the end of this meeting.
Either the town's gonna get rid of it, or the town's gonna do something with it.
So what I'll do is I'll draft a letter. This is the final notice. If anybody has any, and you know, having two new members here, Neil and Steven with the former town hall. It's next to the library, the old town hall there, that dilapidated building. The town was given it by a resident many years ago. Within the deed, it's contingent that the town can use it for town use. There's some outlines of, you know, it has to be used for public use, for the benefit of the town. However, once that stops, the town would have to give it back essentially. So at this point, the town needs to figure out what they want to do with it. And we've had a lot of discussion about potential ideas. Some of the ideas like recreation and open space don't have anything to do with EDC. So from an EDC perspective, do you have any input on what we could do with that building? And if not, basically make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen that they make a determination of what they would like to do with the building, but we don't have any ideas from an economic development standpoint, or if you do, we include that as a possible recommendation. But really, part of the discussion we've had is pretty much the town's got to make up its mind to either take care of the building and put it to use, or turn it back to the family that had once donated to the town.
Maybe we should just have a meeting with the town and have a vote, with the town people.
But at that point, that's to the, up to
Yeah,
the Board
up
of
to the
Selectmen,
Board of
not
Selectmen.
this committee.
Or maybe we just have a meeting, Jack, and just, do we wanna fix it? And then we'll get the bond money and then we'll fix it and we'll do something with it, or we just give it back to the other owners and then send them a tax bill. And give them
I
a
think
few
so.
years to do the abatement and everything they have to.
Yeah, I
bring
think
it up
you're
to
right
code.
on that one, Scott. I'd rather just give it back and get an easement to get by there, so.
Yeah, we have the easement, Jack, and we have 15 acres we can use in the back for public use. People would grow public gardens, we can, you know, it could be space we could rent for family reunions or whatever.
I think it's just gonna cost way too much.
I do too, because it's the whole front of the building's lead. Hey,
But when it comes to taking that building, like previously the town had done with the library, leasing it out and collecting revenue from it, that's not something we could do with it per the deed agreement that was given to the town. So from that standpoint, it kind of removes this commission from that.
I mean,
building.
to me, it's gonna take at least $400,000 to $500,000 to bring that building, to a usable point.
Okay, so I'll draft a letter. If you have any input, please get that in before the end of February to Suzanne, so she can pass it along to me and we can include it in the letter. We'll have a draft of the letter at this commission next month. And then we can either make revisions or approve it. At that time. And then get this off the agenda, and get it moving forward.
I mean, most people wanna lower their taxes this time, not increase them.
Okay. All right, so can we have a motion to table to next meeting?
Yes. Yes, I'll make a motion.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, not voting, motion carries. All right, I'll draft that letter. We'll get this moved and off the agenda next meeting. I'll be happy to see it go. Drainage issues in the industrial park. We had included the drainage issues in the, grant request, that went out. So
Is the drainage, is it up on top, is it down, I don't,
when you go up the hill, it's in the woods to the left. There's sort of a retention area to control the water flow that comes down the hill, and the basin there is all washed out and needs repair. Apparently, when they were building the paving over the old railroad track to make the bike path there was like a torrent of water that had come down the hill because this is not functioning anymore and washed out the bike path as they were doing it and they had to redo it. But essentially, that basin needs repairs for drainage on the side of the hill. It's sort of when you go up and you go past Du Bois Chemicals, I think it's right after Du Bois Chemicals, you'll see like a dirt road that goes inwards there. That's the path that leads you into where that basin is. It's back behind the building, you can't see it from the road.
and the reason I was asking is I had found, some paperwork in the other room from the, engineers that we had, and it was a whole discussion on drainage, but it was down in the Revere site, so it's got nothing to do with.
Okay. Yeah, we had
outside
gotten a quote from the Department of Public Works too, because they believe they could do the work with just the purchase of materials.
Oh,
So there was that we got last meeting, so there was some more research they had to do for completing that job internally within the town and not having to hire someone. So with that, and also waiting to hear back from the grant, no one has any other input. We have a motion to table the drainage issues in the industrial park?
Yes.
Second,
I said it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Not voting, motion carries. Okay, new business, so we have a wonderful letter here from Holman Conley. This is the first time I've seen the full letter. I know I heard about this about a week ago, because someone had posted it online and my wife had told me about it. So we have a letter from Pullman Cobley that was sent out, from what I understand, Suzanne, do you have any more information on this? From what I understand, this was sent out to neighbors in the surrounding area?
I was given this from, Ashley yesterday.
I have one here too,
Okay.
because they sent it to me.
Jack or Patty, do you have more information on this, or
Oh, yeah.
would you like to speak to this? And
Yes,
okay.
yes. What they want to do is to put in a, what they call a solar farm. But it's really not a solar farm, it's, what do they call, oh, an industrial power unit. That's what it really is, because it's not a farm. Let me just read what I wrote. If this is an option for Sterling, we must ensure that it's done the right way and environmentally sound. I agree with Neil that if we're gonna put anything new into Sterling, that it has to be done in the right way. If it's gonna be done at all. And they're gonna be taking down an awful lot of trees. They're going to be upsetting all of that environment. The acreage of solar panels itself is going to be vast, both across the street on Route 14 toward, well, all Bellavance's property. And then in back of me where Corson wants to rent it to these people. I think it's too close to the river in back of me, in case we have some kind of, oil spill, gas spill. I just, I don't think they are as, I don't think they're as environmentally friendly as, our man, Brian Fitzgerald, tried to make it out to be when he spoke to us at the Board of Selectmen. And I told, Mike, about it, and Mike worked for solar panel people, and so I asked him if he would have something to say about it, and I think I should let him, tell you the technical things.
Okay, so just to make clear in the letter here, it is saying that this office represents Brookfield Husky Solar,
Yes,
who are developers of renewable energy, and the letter's being sent to inform that Husky Solar intends to develop a 50 megawatt alternating current, ground-mounted solar photovoltaic system to be located on approximately 460 acres of combined parcels between Sterling Road, Sterling Hill Road in Plainfield, and Sterling, Connecticut, on approximately 33 acre, 7-acre parcel on Sterling Road in Sterling, Connecticut. Are those plots all adjacent and contingent? Are those all connected?
he showed us the map,
Lots
and
they're
some of
talking about.
those areas on the Bellavance side, which if you're going up, west on 14, it'd be on the left side, all the way up to Bellavance's house. What were you asking? I just forgot.
So are all of those
Oh,
properties?
adjacent, some of them
adjacent?
cannot be used
Okay,
for solar panels, some of them can, because he showed us the map, and I was trying to think of what that was. And then on the other side, with the gravel pit, he can lease that or excavate it, make it smooth and all this, and put them in there. The trees are already down because it's a
Yeah.
gravel pit. But it's still, it involves so much that we're not even being told about
Yeah.
from Brian.
If they caught on fire, the town couldn't even put them out.
I had that written.
They couldn't put them out. They can't put them out. We don't have a foam system big enough. You can't put them out with water. You have to put them out with foam. We don't have a foam system that could put it out. Okay?
Okay,
And if you hit them with water, they blow up. My cousin was a firefighter. And he told me they had a fire down in Quonset one time, and they had, the panels were on fire, and they caught on fire. And he says, we didn't have foam, and we hit them with water, and they exploded, and they made the fire even bigger. They blow up.
so just to make it clear,
And that's all woods, and let's face it, unless they're using Roundup, which I don't really think we want Roundup to kill the grass,
but they will.
then you have the potential for a grass fire,
Mhm.
which could light the panels on fire.
He couldn't give us any information
And
about.
those questions need to be said, so I don't want them sprayed with Roundup, because that's gonna pollute the river you're talking about.
Yeah.
the whole
So,
town's on well water.
we've already had this discussion because of Mrs. Valentina with the industrial park up top with solar panels. And that was my biggest concern, that she wasn't gonna use Roundup. And she was gonna have to pay to update the fire department on a foam system installed up there. But what she was talking about is nowhere near what these people are talking.
Oh, we had the other separate solar project too, that for the rodeo.
Yes.
They wanted one to support just their business, a small one, not it was a small system just for their commercial building there.
But the same thing, we don't want Roundup being used to spray underneath these solar panels, because they don't wanna pay them up.
Nobody can mow them, nobody can police them,
And you have the problem with the fire, if there's a fire.
or
you can't put them
vandalism.
up. And unfortunately, we have terrorists in this country, and people that would do something like that to create
We have,
total havoc.
we have children, unparented children who will go
Yeah.
up there and
I
smash
know,
it.
we have them on camera all the time.
But
Yes.
just, one thing I wanna make clear is that this project, this is the only thing that's come before this commission in regards to this project. Nothing has come before this commission in regards to this project. And this project, as it gets submitted for approval and stuff, will move through planning and zoning. Is the commission they'll end up working with, not economic development. We don't have, well, the main thing for this, the main responsibility for this commission is the industrial park. And then general business activities in town for the attraction and retention and expansion of business. This is not a business that this commission brought in to town or had any contact with whatsoever. So I'll put that out there, and they will have to move through planning and zoning, and I imagine that's where a lot of the meetings would take place, Jack, planning and zoning
We
and
were told
and
today,
first selectmen.
we were told today that they don't, and Patty and I were at that select meeting, of course, and he told us he had to go through planning and zoning in the wetlands. Well, we found out that's not true.
Oh, okay.
No, they can bypass that. He made it sound like he had to. He was selling us on the deal. All they have to go through is the Connecticut Siting Council. That's it. If they okay it, then they're in.
Okay.
And
That's what we can do.
That's why I was saying, if we don't have a say, if the town can't vote it down, or if the selectmen don't have the final say in this, then they're gonna put it in. But if they're gonna put it in, we have to make sure somehow or other that they put it in such a way that it's actually bonded for 20 years, so that at the end, when they try to take this thing down, that it doesn't, well, tell them what happens.
So how about we open it,
Yeah.
your name again?
Mike Howard.
Mike, did you wanna, you're here to speak on this issue, right?
Yeah,
Did you
okay.
wanna speak? We'll open the floor to you and just let you speak.
Yes.
Thank you. I think we're all pretty much in agreement. I don't think anybody here is in favor of it. There's things you need to know. I own a concrete company in Rhode Island. I worked quite extensively with 3 solar fields in Rhode Island until I saw what was going on, and then I distanced myself from it because there's some money that just isn't worth it. What we found was, it's a smash and grab. They come and smash the land, they grab the money, you never see them again. The promises are all taillight guarantee. They all come in, oh, we're gonna take care of the runoff. Well, if they don't, I mean, I can see that, the opinion here is, economic development. We want to bring businesses in that can thrive and be good for the community, a symbiotic relationship. This isn't how this is gonna work. They're gonna come in, we're not even able to purchase the electricity that it generates. The jobs they say they create, it's just not true. They bring in their own crews. The companies that do them, they'll come in and then next year they'll have a new name. I worked for Revity LLC in Rhode Island. The next year was Revity EPC. Then it was Revity Energy. I don't know what it's gonna be tomorrow. But when you talk to these people, they say, oh yeah, we're gonna come in and we'll remediate this, or decommissioning, they call it. Yeah, good luck with that. That name will have changed, they'll be out of business, you'll be what's called a bag holder. Now, promoting business to complete our community so it can be kind of self-sustaining, that's wonderful. That's why I live here. I love this town. I love it. That isn't germane to this town. What's gonna happen is, it's gonna be the opposite of that. It'll be a liability. Because what happens is the landowners, they sell out. I don't blame them. I'm not a jealous person. I think that if people wanna make money, they should, but do it the right way. I mean, if they wanna put in a furniture factory and be there for 25 years, then I could go buy my furniture there. Maybe I'll get a job there someday. Anything is better than this. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna come in, they're gonna rape the place. I mean, you talk about animals, they talk about CO2 reduction. Well, I thought those plants reduce CO2. That's kind of
It's
how they
not
are.
green when you cut down trees.
Right, so it's the opposite. Panels come from China, 80% come from China, the other 20% Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, 4 small companies in Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, North Carolina. That's where these companies, that's where the panels come from. I estimated with Patty that it's gonna be around 75,000 gallons of fuel spent just to get the panels here. So think about that.
From California.
Now looking
California.
at the Verigy site, Husky Solar, I downloaded it on this project and I started reading it. There's inconsistencies. Now, I'm not an engineer, but I can do math. Math is everything in this world. I found 3, this is a 50, just for instance, it's a 50 megawatt, a 50 megawatt system, or 50, yeah, I know, why for, I'm sorry. But this is it's a 50 megawatt system. If you look up down here, it says it's gonna create 87,539,926 kilowatt hours per year. Now, if you do the math, that comes out to a 9.996 megawatt system. So we'll call it 10,000. So we already went from 50 to 10, because that's just a number plate rating. That's how they sell it. It's only gonna generate 10. We're gonna have all this land rate for 10 megawatts. If you look over here, they say that it serves 6,629 homes. 6,692 is the exact number. Not approximately 7,000, or it's 6,692. Do the math, it's 8.1 megawatts. Take a look at, just Google it, what's the average New England output of a 50 megawatt solar system? Will play 7.5.
It takes about 5 panels to create a kilowatt
It's crazy.
on a bright day
Now, if they wanted to come in and do
for a kilowatt.
if they wanted to do like one of those gas turbines, you know how big they are to do 10 megawatts? It's about 800 square feet. That's it. So what I want you to know is they're gonna come in, they're gonna try to guilt you into it with the green initiative. Oh, well, don't you wanna go green? It's like, well, to me, green is sick. When you're green, you're sick, right? And that's what this is. It's a smash and grab. It's liability. The excavators they use there, they bring in those big 80,000 pound cats. Those things are 212 gallons per minute hydraulic flow. So if you blow a hose on one of those, 30 seconds later, you realize, oh man, I have a problem. Wow, you just dumped 100 gallons of oil on the ground. Now, if that runs off in the Moosa River and heads downstream, we're liable for that because it goes off of their property into the river. They can come back and say, well, you polluted the river. Now we're going backwards. Forget about economic development. Now we just assume the liability. Plus when it's decommissioned. Right now, it's about $75,000 per acre to rip one of those things out. That's today's money, not
20 years.
not 20 years from now. So if you look at 75 acres, there's part in Sterling right now. Now, if you had to put 3 inches of loom on, that'd be $1.1 million just by the loom at $30 a yard. So who's gonna pay for that? The company who's been out of business for 18 years when it's done? Is the landowner gonna do it? He's gonna let the town have it for taxes because he already collected millions off of it. Who's that? You're stuck holding the bag. So there's something to develop economically, but then they need you, that's one side, you know, like to make a budget, you gotta either make money or decrease liability, right? We're taking on a lot of liability. Because when this thing goes, and just like this gentleman said with the fire, that's a huge, 75 acres is 1,800 by 1,800 feet. I don't even know if we have 1,800 feet hose or the manpower to drag it that far.
Plus the toxic fumes that would travel throughout Sterling.
It's just bad all around. So basically, I'm asking you, this is not the kind of business we want in Sterling. This is not anything that will serve our community. It won't create any jobs. I just looked at this list. Nowhere do I see excavation or industrial electrical, so that's won't serve any of the same thing. We get to look at it. The upside is, there is an upside, okay? There is an upside, so it's not all hope is lost. $252,400 a year in taxes we're gonna take in on that. They claim, so that's $250,000 a year. They're claiming we're gonna collect $11 million over the life of this project. So that's assuming it's gonna last 44 years. I'll tell you right now, they don't last 20.
No.
PV cells reduce efficiency by 0.05 to 0.8% every year.
I have 21 solar panels on my garage and I've had them there for 11 years. And they are down about 20%
Right.
from where they were.
So we just gotta watch ourselves here. If it's gonna come in, it's gonna come in.
You see what they do over in Asia with those solar panels? They use them for fencing to keep in animals now.
You can't recycle them.
Because they can't recycle, so they use them for fencing.
They end up in a landfill.
Oh, they use them for fencing.
So previous conversations we've had in this committee about potential solar projects in the industrial park. This commission has not been in favor of solar in the industrial park in the past. Because it's pretty much, as you said, taking the land there. And we also feel there's better use for the land. We have a phase two that's about 56 acres undeveloped up there right now. We always felt it would be better if it were to be developed as a true industrial park with
Absolutely.
additional businesses, additional business, buildings that develop jobs. And the solar, for what the footprint is, has a very low job factor.
Zero.
So
Yeah,
It's a liability.
it's something that we have not been into it. Personally, from my standpoint, when I heard about this project and started reading it, I was not in favor of it. The one piece of it, and again, I don't know the map and the whole footprint of where it was going. The one thing I could get on board with is if it were a sand and gravel plant that were already, and that was the, renovating exit plan to the gravel plant or a quarry or something like that, okay, where the land is already in that shape, I might be able to get on board with that, but if it comes to tearing down 460 acres in the last Green Valley,
Right.
no chance in the world.
No.
And not only would I not be in favor of it, I would be very loudly opposed to it.
One final point I'd like you to see is they claim we'll catch $250,000 worth of, 250,400 to be exact, worth of tax revenue. Do the math, there's 1,800 residences, give or take, in Sterling, if I'm not mistaken. You divide it out, that's $140 per resident. Not that wealthy, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you the 140, we don't need that tax money that bad.
No, like I said, we have it in favor in the industrial park. The problem with the industrial park is we have two 80 megawatt lines that tie into the grid. So we're looking to try to hopefully someday get a gasification plant up there. Or maybe someday they'll then cold fusion or, some kind of plant up there that can use those lines. Or even like, I wouldn't even mind if they built a building, they put solar panels on the roof and maybe a couple of windmills, with a gasification plant. That's fine.
What we had approved in this commission before in the past was there's a building in the park, Rodeo Cannabis. They wanted to put solar panels on their own property, and then they wanted to purchase, I think it was a 6 acres from the town that was adjacent to their land, that they wanted to put panels on for purely running their building, which we had approved the recommendation, and the Board of Selectmen did not take the recommendation and denied it. And that's where that issue fell, and no solar panels were built. Other than that, we have never been in favor of solar from a production
For a
standpoint.
production state, like if you wanna have it on your own building, for your own needs, yes, but not.
I'd rather see them use the land for affordable housing initiative, that way we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Put an over 55 community in there, that way we don't have the kids,
Well,
we got the tax.
we've long known that the Bella Vance property something was gonna happen because they own almost 500 acres. And it goes from the bottom of Sterling Hill all the way towards Riverview. And we know it's a huge swath of land, and we've been worried about a lot of different things over the years. I've been on the committee for over a decade, and it's come up a lot of times where the town's worried. We're worried about the different things that could happen, Section 8 housing, all different things. Because the Bella Vances are all in their, 70s and 80s? And let's face it, when they go there, their ears probably would love to cash in, and move on, and they might have no ties to Sterling. But they are older, and so they could be, and let's face it, they could be manipulated by, oh, look at all this money we have and we still own the property.
Is this a recent acquisition, or are they looking to do due diligence? prior to
They want-
purchase?
What he says, they wanna,
Do they own the properties?
Do they own the property yet, or is
Bella
this
Vance.
prior to purchase, they're just
Usually you
looking?
lease it,
They're gonna, but
Lease
they're
it.
gonna rent it out or lease
they
it out,
rent it out, you do a long-term lease, usually.
from Bella Vance.
yes.
But
At
it's
one
usually
time-
means to an end at that point, you're not gonna keep the property. Because once you get to decommissioning, I estimate just a 75-acre part up there.
Sure.
20 years from now, it's gonna cost 7.1 to get rid of it, so who's gonna pay that?
They're gonna file bankruptcy and walk away.
And then who pays it?
How much of this
There you go,
is,
because they let it go to the town for the taxes.
Of course they do.
So this is something we gotta avoid, I mean, it's just gotta.
Yeah, because it's gonna be an LLC. I mean, we had that problem with the subleasing. We had people that wanted to sublease in the industrial park. They wanted to store tires and they were just gonna sublease from the other person. So if the fire happens, first, who's gonna be responsible? The LLC is gonna go out of business. And the person who owns the property that subleased it isn't liable.
Oh, back on.
Yeah, exactly. And as the lava rolls down the hill and contaminates other people's lots, then who's responsible? Or it goes into that drainage ditch that we're fixing.
And if it solidifies problems.
And we know you can't put out, it's hard to put out tire fires. Look at the one in Ohio, burned what, like 4 months before they put it out?
Look at the one we had at the Exeter tire plant. All of that soot and everything else went right over the Gibson Hill, right on top of the, dam and bleachers.
You know,
Should be.
what bothered me the most is I heard recently that there's an eagle that frequents that property up there. That's when I had enough.
I have a picture of it.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do.
That was my line.
Yeah, I wish I had the picture this year. I had an eagle hanging out with
Well, that
two
eagle
turkey
won't
vultures
anymore.
and crows all eating a deer carcass.
Right there.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
Neil, Steven, did you guys, or Steve, right? It says Steve.
Either way, responsible.
Uh, Steve, Neil, did you guys have any input or anything you wanted to say?
I think overall, I agree with you guys, I don't want to see that, anything we could do, yeah, I don't want it, I think we're all on the same page here about that.
Likewise.
There's plenty of farmers around here that love to pick it for hay corn.
Well, they did at one time, they did thousands of bales a day.
Maybe that should continue, compound sweet.
They're older though.
That's what I'm saying, they were in their seventies, eighties, when I first moved here. And I had some animals, I used to go there and buy hay from them, not a lot, but I mean. They were, you know, then it's Sandy Dodge, but yeah, they used to do a lot of hay.
Yeah.
When they were younger, and they had the Frito-Lay, you know, trailers there, just like Sandy Dodge does. But they, you know, like you said, they're old, they're very old now, and yeah.
That's good.
Patty and Jack, did you guys, have anything that you wanted from this committee pertaining to this letter with any decision or any recommendation from us? Were you looking anything from the committee in regards to this letter?
I was hoping that, we would get a consensus of whether you were all for it and, oh, it's all environmentally sound and it's wonderful, or that you knew the facts that, he was so eloquent giving and would say, hey, we're gonna get, shammed here.
No, we're gonna get Shannon. Windmills would be a little bit different thing, you know.
I'd like to have Mike and Scott, come to the next, presentation they give.
When is that?
And put that, I don't know yet.
I think we should get somebody from the fire department too.
That was a great. that's a
Maybe
great-
get, Sweet, Jimmy Sweet.
Yep, Jimmy Sweet, yeah.
Get Jimmy Sweet to come.
Because the two of you together are very eloquent. I was stumbling all over the place, but you guys were great.
Well, I think too, the other thing you could do is you could put some outreach on Facebook or whatever other way that, putting this letter out there to the residents and soliciting people in town who have knowledge on the subject if they'd like to speak on it. Because we would have never known Mike existed if he didn't decide to come here tonight.
Right.
So I'm sure there's other people that are somehow involved within the industry or have good knowledge that could also share, where it's not just one or two people speaking, and if you can get multiple voices speaking with knowledge on the matter, it might be.
Yeah, I'm sure we have a lot of people in town that have knowledge of this.
Once they know the facts about what this thing really involves, then they understand.
It's like this, if we don't have a bond, like he's saying, we're on the hook.
Yes.
So
Right.
if they wanna put their money where their mouth is and put up a bond, then it's a different story. Cause then we know they're gonna clean it up. But if they're not gonna put up a bond, then sorry.
We also need ordinances though, to make sure that they're not running these trucks during the time that the buses are going in over here. I mean, there's a lot of trucks that are gonna be going in and out of there, and it's right there behind the school.
Yeah.
It's, it's all kind of crazy things.
That was,
Okay, So did we wanna give we could vote to approve a statement that gets passed to the
That would
board
be
of
great.
selectmen, is that what you're
Yeah.
looking for
Yes.
possibly? So
Yes.
to sum up this discussion, Suzanne, for a statement that we wanna give is, upon review of the letter that was delivered from the attorneys and discussion with, Mike, our citizen and audience, and, the commission, we are not supportive of this project. Or, I don't know if the commission wants to strengthen that language to oppose instead of not supportive. So I'll leave it up to you guys to discuss. If you want to issue a statement that says we are either opposed to this or not supportive of this project. You want to say, do you want it to be termed not supportive, or would you have it be termed
Not
opposed to the project?
I'm not supportive of it at all. I think opposed would sound better. Rather strongly agree on it.
Opposed is stronger.
It is, but I just want to make sure the commission
No, I'm good
members
with
here
opposed.
are okay with that word.
Yeah, I'm good with those.
Okay. So could we have a motion to approve we'll make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen that based upon the letter that was provided and the discussion tonight, that this commission is opposed to this project. Do we have a motion to approve that statement?
Yes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Or opposed? Not voting? Motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other new business or any other business to come before the commission?
What's the status of Valentina? Has she come up with any tax money or anything?
She did finally,
Okay,
not all of it yet,
okay,
but a good chunk.
okay,
I negotiated with her, or I should say Judy did. And, yeah, we got a lot more than we thought we were gonna.
all right.
That's where it's standing right now.
So she's on a payment plan?
No, not a payment plan.
She's
We
just,
gave her this one time and she's got one other shot and that's it to pay off.
okay. Did she say anything about any new projects she has?
No, nothing. She wants to meet with me, but everybody says she's quite the schmoozer or whatever.
She, could probably talk a dog off the meat wagon, but yeah. But, yeah, she's Valentina, I don't know, she's a character.
Yeah,
But, I mean, if she could ever produce some of the things she says she's gonna do, they would be awesome. I mean, I give her 2 thumbs up, but
Yeah.
she never comes in with a set of drawings, she never comes in with a set of plans. You know, she just tells you, you know, the sky's great, everything's gonna be great, she's gonna build this wonderful plant that she can't tell you about, and she's gonna build this other building, she can't tell you what it is, but it's gonna employ a bunch of people. And, you know, it's just, and then she needs a road that's wider than the road to access the road, so, to her plant that's gonna produce this wonderful thing and employ all these people, but she can't tell you what it is. And she killed I feel that she killed a project that we had. We had a chance to have a plastic manufacturer that made medical, medical devices. And, the representative, a guy Frank, was here, and he had it pretty much sold, and she was here, and she kind of killed the deal on us. And that would have been the first lot in phase 2, and she killed the deal. I feel that she potentially killed the deal. Because she couldn't tell us, she wanted this wide road and she wants to build this building, but she couldn't tell us any information on it. I think it was a mining company is what it is to go with her power plant she wanted to build, but crypto or something. That's what she left us with the feeling of what it is, but we don't know for sure. But she did, I feel she probably killed the other project that we probably could have had built. I'll be under construction right now. Well, stop. That didn't make me too happy,
yeah.
because we volunteer for this, Jack.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're here to give the town with tax relief. And, you know, that's the purpose, is for tax relief. And when someone kills a project like that, and let's face it, a building like that, we probably would have got $20,000-$30,000 in taxes a year from it, maybe more. Depending on how many people they employ and what the value of the equipment is inside the building. that, you know, we don't know. But, you know, it could have been $100,000 worth of income for the town. And she killed it, and then she can't pay her taxes.
So with that update, anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Second? Yeah, all in favor? Aye.
You're here on Tuesdays, right? You're around on Tuesdays, because the seniors? Yeah, and you know my in-laws, you know, parents.
Oh, really? So,
Larry and Verna.
when May and I were going, you know those,
Makes sense now,
It
doesn't
does,
it?
but when May and I go, either one of us, so that's second birthday, so he's about to turn 43. For his second birthday, we got him an excavator power. And he's out in the snow with a snow blower with his mini excavator. It's an employee dump truck. Yeah, he loves it. That's-
I went riding like 2 weekends ago, I went up to the top of a mountain, Culver Mountain in Maine.
Yeah.
And we got up, it was about 0 on the ground, when I got to the top of the mountain. It had to be 30 below 0, Steve. I took my gloves off, I took 4 pictures and my hands were like crushed. And I had my hand warmers on my sled on hot, I didn't even turn my sled off. And I had to like wrap my hands around the bars, and normally, like, if it's like this temperature out right now and I have them on high, you can't even hold on to the bars, that's how hot they get. My friend's son, his gloves caught on fire on his sled before. That's how hot they get. And my hands, they couldn't keep my hands.
Wow, that was.
It's a